Larkin, if you can have your approach. Thank you. The court has retrieved the exhibits 63 and 64 from the adjournment and put them back in the binder. Mr. Larkin, if you can raise your right hand and be sworn in by Madam Clerk.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this pending trial shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
I should ask, sometimes we have some trouble with the microphones. Does it pick up better if I sit down and stand up?
However you want to do it is fine. If you want to sit, that's fine. If you want to stand, that's fine.
I'll just do it. See if it works. Thanks. Could you state your name for the record, sir?
Yes, Randy Michael Larkin, Larkin.
Mr. Larkin, how old are you?
I am 60.
And you're the defendant in this action?
Yes, I am.
And you've been charged with first-degree murder
Yes, I have.
in the death of Morey Pelton, is that correct?
That's correct.
And an enhancement for committing a crime with a gun as well.
Yes.
Randy, are you a murderer?
No, I'm not.
Did you murder Morey Pelton?
No, I did not.
Did you shoot Morey Pelton on May 12, 2022?
Yes, I did.
Let's talk about that. There's been a lot of talk about people who live in Swan Valley. In May of 2022, did you live in Swan Valley, Idaho?
Yes, I did.
When did you move to Swan Valley?
I moved there in about 2019. I bought the home in 2015. But I took care of my mother, and when she passed, I moved up there.
When did she pass?
She passed 2018.
And then you moved into Swan Valley?
Yes.
Are you retired now?
I am a disabled union iron worker.
Disabled.
Disabled union iron worker.
And what happened? What's your disability, sir?
I had a hip replacement and my lower back from S1 to L3, it still needs a fusion.
When did that accident happen?
11/28 of 2017.
2017?
Yes,
You say it still needs work?
yes it does.
Have you, tell me, you said you used to be an iron worker?
Yes,
What do iron workers do?
we build high rises, we're the ones that put the structure up. We build bridges, we do nuclear power plants out here. Anything structural before anybody other trades get in, we go up and we build it.
Where did you work as an iron worker?
I have worked all over the country.
Were you a journeyman?
Oh yes,
And did you have any apprentices who you were mentoring or training?
many times.
How long had you been a journeyman iron worker?
35 years.
And that was until your injury in 2017?
Yes. I still pay my dues, so I'm considered
Still in that group?
an iron worker, yes.
How did that injury that you had affect you?
Excuse me?
How did your injury that you got at work affect you?
I couldn't lift nothing. My back constantly hurt. It stopped my mobility quite a bit. Couldn't be an iron worker.
Okay. Let's go back to Swan Valley. You say you moved there in 2017. You were disabled in 2017.
Excuse me?
You moved there in 2017?
I moved there in 2019.
2019.
Yes, sir.
Notwithstanding your physical problems that you mentioned, did you get a job in Swan Valley?
I helped out some friends that had a bar,
And what bar are we talking about?
the Covered Wagon Saloon.
Who owned the Covered Wagon Saloon?
They're Jackson Brothers.
And are those people that you knew through ironworking union?
Yes, I've known them for 25 years or better.
They gave you a job?
Yeah, I just helped out. I didn't even get on the payroll.
What were you doing there?
I had bartended slow season and stuff, but from April to the middle of May, they had a switch in brothers managing it. So I stepped in and helped them get transferred over.
How about Morey Pelton? When did you meet him?
I met him about 5 years prior to that. He started dating one of my best friends, Kurt Jackson's daughter.
And so you knew him for about 5 years prior to the time that you moved to Swan Valley?
Yes, 5, 6 years. Excuse me.
Did Morey Pelton ever borrow money from you?
Yes, he did.
There was some testimony that Morey Pelton borrowed money from you before May of 2022, and that he didn't pay you back. Is that ring true?
That's correct. Not all of it, no.
He paid you some of it?
Yes, he did.
How much money did he borrow from you?
He borrowed $4,000,
And how much did he pay you back?
$850.
Did he tell you what he was going to do with that money?
No, he didn't, but it was only common knowledge what he'd do.
Okay, what did you think he was going to do with that money?
He was probably gonna run down south and get dope.
Was he buying that dope for you?
No, he was not, for himself. He told me he needed the money to come up.
When was he when did he borrow the money from you?
He borrowed it probably the first, no, it was probably March, middle of March, towards the end of March.
March of 2022?
Yes, sir.
When was he supposed to pay you back?
In 1 month, so middle of April.
You say he paid you $850?
Yes, he did.
How about the rest? Did you have any communication with him about the rest?
We did on text, but he never would return my calls or come and talk to me.
Did you try to get in touch with him?
Yes, many times.
How?
By texting, calling. And then I kind of mentioned to everybody that knew him to come talk to me.
You ever threaten to kill him?
No, I have not.
Did you threaten to hurt him?
No.
But he sent you text messages.
Yes.
Okay, and in the text messages, did he give you reasons why he was not paying you back?
Many.
So I understand there was a time when, did you try to meet up with him?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about May 12th of 2022. You familiar with that date?
Yes, I am.
And what were you doing on that day?
I had a bartender, and then I had some people that was behind on rent helping me move out an old trailer to clear up a couple of spots for some, temporary people coming in and out.
And then did you run into a mutual friend of Morey Pelton on that day?
Yes, I did. Kelly came around the roundabout.
Kelly whom?
Kelly Hinks.
Okay. How did you know Kelly?
He'd been helping me. I've known him from the valley, and he'd been helping me with getting all the stuff. I sold my parents' place. So I was moving a bunch of stuff up to the valley and cleaning up it, and I sold it.
So you saw Kelly on May 12th?
Yes, I did.
Okay, how did that meeting happen?
He was coming around the roundabout, and I was having the boys unhook the trailer. I was right in front of my truck, and he stopped. We got to chatting.
What did you talk about?
He said that he was rounding up some money and stuff and was gonna give Morey a call for some dope.
What kind of dope were we talking about?
Meth.
Okay. Now, you have used methamphetamine yourself, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Did you have any meth at that time?
No, I did not.
Had you consumed any meth on that day?
No, I did not.
So let's talk about what you were talking about with Kelly. Kelly mentions to you that he's going to be meeting up with Morey.
Yes,
He's going to buy some meth from him.
yes.
Okay. Did he ask you if you wanted some?
Yes, he did.
And what did you say?
I wasn't gonna put in on it.
Okay. You say put in on it, see if you wanted you to go in with him to buy meth from Morey?
Yes,
Okay, you said no.
no,
So, after that, did you talk with him about, wanting to see Morey yourself?
yes, I did.
What'd you say?
I said, well, where are you guys meeting? And he said, the dollar store in Ryrie. I said,
You know about what time of day that was?
that was about 7:30.
Okay. Still light out?
Yes, it was.
Tell me about the dollar store. Is that a hidden place, a public place?
No, it's a public place right in Ryrie.
Okay. Nothing secret about the dollar store?
No, I needed toilet paper and paper towels for the bar, so it would have been perfect.
So he says he's gonna meet with the dollar store, that, he's just gonna be meeting him, what do you say?
I gotta run to the house and I'll be back.
Okay, and then what did you do?
I went to the house.
Okay,
And then, Billy Burton was working on my house, he was redoing my kitchen. And Gerald Hamlin had pulled in there, and I had his transmission and a couple, catalytic converters from his Tahoe. And when he got in a wreck down at my place in Pokey, he brought most of that to Pokey for me. He had a big, wire kennel for a dog and a train set in a box. Well, he had his trailer there and he had that loaded up. And when I pulled in, I was in my pickup, and we was already scheduled to go into Idaho Falls. Cause me, Billy, and Gerald was gonna go to a party. So I pulled in, I told Gerald, I said, back out and I'll pull my car out. He says, oh no, I'm not going into town with you and Billy, I'm gonna drive. So Gerald unhooked the trailer and we all got in to Gerald's car. Me, Billy, and Gerald. Billy was already dressed up and about half tuned, so I know he wasn't doing much work.
you say half tune, what do you mean?
He was feeling no pain. I'm sure he had plenty of alcohol.
You know what kind of alcohol he drank?
Yes, I left a fifth of Cuervo and a 12-pack of Coors Banquet in the fridge whenever he's working for me.
That is a favor to a friend,
Yes, it is.
because he likes tequila.
Yes, it is.
So what happened after that?
We went to the bar and we got a table and we were sitting
When
there.
you say the bar,
Yes.
which bar?
The Covered Wagon Saloon.
Okay. Yeah.
And we went there, and I ordered him a couple beers, and we were sitting there, and Kelly still hadn't came in. Misty Summers, my bartender, she came in, and she came up to me and said, Randy, we're out of toilet paper and we're out of paper towels. I said, well, go next door. And Linda, she was one of the owners, will have paper towels and toilet paper till I get back. Well, that kind of speeded up the process, so, because we didn't want to close, the dollar store to close. So we got up and we headed out. Now, I didn't get a call from Kelly until we had just passed the rest area.
You say rest area, we've had a lot of talk about Lane Clark rest area, that rest area.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so when we're talking in proximity, Swan Valley is up towards Palisades right before you get to the dam.
Yes,
And then if you go back towards, say, Idaho Falls, you go from the dam through Swan Valley, past the rest area, and then into Ryrie, and then to Idaho Falls, is that right?
yes, that's true.
Okay, so, before we go to that part of the journey, Gerald Hamlin, did he sell you meth that day?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and he talked about that, he did bring meth from Washington, and sold you some,
Yes, he did.
okay? Did you consume any of that day?
No, I did not. Took it in the house and threw it in the desk and we was gone.
Okay. So the three of you are driving towards the dollar store in Ryrie, and what happens?
Kelly calls me and says, where are you? I said, well, we've already left. And he goes, well, should have been sitting here waiting for you. I said, got to meet Morey at the rest area. I said, well, damn, we just passed the rest area.
What happened after that?
We turned around, we was about halfway between the rest area and, Ryrie. We turned around and came back through. We entered the west end of the rest area, came across the whole parking lot, and went down to the lower level. Pulled in there, and we waited for about 5 minutes for everybody. And nobody showed up. So I looked at him, I said, well, they might be up to Alan Clark. Sometimes they meet there. That's our Keegan man that was here. That's where he used to live. So we went up there, we pulled up, and that's when we went back towards Swan Valley, Swan Valley. We went up there to Alan Clark's place, and we didn't see no cars. So we turned back around and came back to the rest area and pulled right up to the rest area where the bathrooms was, and I got out and I used the bathroom.
Before we go further, I was wondering if there's something I can bring up briefly with the court before we go into the next area. Randy, have you ever known Morey Pelton to own or carry a gun?
Yes,
When was, prior to May 12th of 2022, when was the most recent time that you had seen Mr. Pelton with a gun?
he was hunting wolves, so he'd come into the house early in the morning, and I'd seen his holster, color tan like that, leather, and I knew he carried it.
This is not responsive. The question was
When?
I mean, Mr. Browning, you want to ask
Sure,
a question?
and when was that?
I would say, that was around Christmas time, and then again, probably in February.
February, and then, what do you remember about when you saw him with a gun in February?
The same. And in November of the year before,
Just
State, you're need to direct us, Mr. Brown.
Right. So, yeah, I do have, let me ask the questions here.
Okay.
So you said later, there was a time when you saw him with a gun?
yes,
When was that later occasion?
that was in October.
Well, you're going backwards, so I'm
Yes.
just trying to go, I'm sorry, when I say later,
I'm going to object as to relevance.
Well, let him ask the question,
okay.
where we're going, then you can then object if you like.
You ever see it, thank you. You ever see him with a gun in March?
I thought he had one in his shirt, but I never did see it. I know his jacket was weighed down.
Prior to that time, okay. When was the last, well, let's see, okay, so you saw him, did you say, I'm just trying to, those two times that you said, in 2022, when were they?
Yes,
Okay, just again for the jury, when was it that the first time that you mentioned, what month was that?
okay, well, I guess 2021 would be,
Objection.
We're going to 2022 first. We want to go 2022 first, then we can go backwards.
okay,
Okay, 2022.
February, and then again in March, I suspected that he had one in his jacket pocket,
Okay, why did you suspect that he had a gun in his pocket at that time?
because you could tell it was weighed down.
You ever seen him, with a gun, prior to those times?
Objection. Relevance.
Mr. Browning, let's deal with the February one, because
Sure.
then, so you're gonna have to take them one at a time.
Sure. Okay, let's talk about the one in February. You say he had one in his holster. He's gonna go out and hunt wolves. We just come back from hunting wolves.
Yes,
Okay. I assume he's not hunting wolves with a pistol. He had something else with him to hunt wolves with.
No.
Objection. Leading.
I'm gonna allow it, so the answer was no.
No?
No.
Okay. Did he shoot wolves with something else other than a pistol?
I never did see, but I'm quite sure he had everything he needed down.
What I'm asking is, so far as you know, he wasn't hunting with a pistol.
Oh, no,
Know that he was not hunting with a pistol?
no, he was not hunting with a pistol.
So the pistol would have some other function?
Objection. This calls for speculation. And move to strike this last answer because it doesn't have personal knowledge. No foundation.
court's gonna sustain the objection because you'll need to ask more questions about what he saw in February. He should be specific about what he saw.
Did you see any hunting rifles with him at that time when you saw him?
No.
Objection, relevance,
State, there's nothing about hunting rifle.
Well, as far as hunting wolves, did you have any reason to believe he was hunting wolves with a pistol?
objection, cause for speculation.
No, I don't answer.
To my understanding, the pistol was for in case bears or something.
Okay, but not for hunting?
No, it was for his protection up in the woods.
Okay. And had you seen him with a pistol prior to that time?
Yes,
Objection, Your Honor, this is just getting too far afield. Relevance,
We'll allow it a little bit, go ahead, Mr. Brown.
When was the time prior to that time in, say, you were saying February?
yes.
Prior to February, when was the time you saw him with a pistol?
Okay, in October, I had a big dumpster.
objection, this is non-responsive. He's talking about February and now he's responding in October.
It's responsive, I asked him when was the prior time.
So there's no other time between February and October?
Was there a time between February of 2022 and October of 2021 where you saw him with a pistol?
Yes, around Christmas time,
Of the Christmas of 2021,
2021.
okay? And what were you doing at that time?
He came in before he went hunting. It was about, I don't know, midnight. I closed the bar early, and he seen my lights was on, so he pulled in.
Okay, what do you remember about seeing the gun?
Just seeing his brown holster of that color below his shirt, or below his jacket.
Okay. And prior to that time, you said, you mentioned October. Was there time between October and December where you saw him with a gun?
October.
October. And let me ask you, where was this?
Objection, I think this is irrelevant, that he carried a gun and went hunting 3 times 6 months before. This is irrelevant.
Mr. Brown, I'll let you ask some questions, but we're nearing the end of relevance.
And this time, was he in his car?
He was cleaning out his car next to my dumpster that I had in front of my house.
At that time, did he tell you anything about his gun?
I walked up,
That's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question. Did he tell you anything about his gun at that time?
yes,
And did he tell you anything about a gun in relation to his car at that time?
yes,
I'm gonna object as to relevance.
We'll allow it.
And what did he tell you in relation to his gun and his car?
he kept it tucked in between the seat and the console. And if he ever got pulled over, all he'd have to do is shove it down and nobody would see it.
That's all. Okay, let's bring you back to May 12th of 2022. So we're talking about, you want to talk with Morey Pelton. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you want to talk with him about money that he owed you?
yes,
Okay. Did you have a gun with you?
yes, I did.
Why did you bring the gun with you?
So we wouldn't, more or less to stop any violence that's going on. I wanted to show that, you know,
In your own words, I'm not going to put words in your mouth.
in case he freaked out, I wanted to protect myself.
The gun that you had, how did you come across that? How did you have that gun in your possession?
There was a gentleman that stayed in the RV park for the covered wagon. And then there was a gal that had the cabin. Well, that was her boyfriend. I was bartending one night, and this young man was one of my ironworker friend's sons. Well, Gina came up to me and said, Jeff is threatening to kill himself. And I said, what? She goes, well, you go out and talk to him. So I went out to Jeff's house, knocked on the door and said, come in. I went in and he had this pistol sitting on his table. And I said, what's going on here? And he says, oh, fuck this life and everything else. Don't have no food, don't have no wood for a stove, didn't even have no food for his dog.
No objection, this is a narrative. He just asked where he got the gun.
Sustain, you know, keep more directions.
He's about to get to how he came into possession of the gun. Okay, if you can continue with, what happened next.
Okay, then I looked at the gun, I said, well, we can solve all this. I'll buy the gun from you. I said, I'll give you $350 for the gun. I knew that was about $100 more than what the gun was worth. And I was gonna keep it for him. I told him, I said, you can buy it back when you get back
This
on
is
your
a
feet.
narrative. The question was where did he get the gun?
I'm gonna allow it, finish your answer.
Okay. So he could buy it back. And they gave him food, they gave him wood, and they gave him food for his dog. I rolled it all up because it was in a bunch of straps in a scabbard. I rolled it up, walked out to my car, opened the trunk, and threw it in the trunk.
And was it still in your trunk on May 12th?
Yes, it was.
And you took it out of your trunk before you went to see Morey Pelton, is that true?
Yes, I did.
And where did you put it? When you mentioned being in a car that was driven by Gerald Hamlin, you and Billy Burton were in a car heading out away from Swan Valley to meet up with Morey Pelton and Kelly Hayes.
Mhm.
Where did you put the gun at that time?
Okay, I grabbed the shirt out of her clothes basket, seen the gun, so I grabbed the gun. Gerald was backing up that little trailer, and I went and got in the front seat and set it right there by my feet.
Where you were sitting in
Gerald-
Gerald's car?
Gerald Hamlin's car,
Gerald
yes.
Hamlin's car, okay. So, let's go back to the scene. You had just brought us up to where, you went back to the Lane Clark rest area and were waiting for Kelly Hinks.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened after that?
Okay, I came from the bathroom, got in Gerald's car, and I'd say about a minute, Kelly comes back through. I seen him through the rearview mirror, he drove down and went down.
And then what did you do?
We just sat there. And about 2 minutes later, Morey, Tom, he came from the east entrance and dropped down.
And what happened next?
Then we backed out and followed him down.
And we followed him down. What did you see as you were approaching Morey Pelton's car and Kelly Hinks' car?
Kelly Hinks was backed in, and then Morey pulled in this way.
They were sort of facing opposite directions.
Yes, you know, driver's door to driver's door.
And where did Gerald Hamlin stop?
Gerald Hamlin stopped right where I could see between the two vehicles across parking lot.
Okay. So when he stopped, it was just a matter of you opening the door and then walking right up to where Morey and
Objection,
Kelly were?
leading.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Morey could see me out of his mirror. I seen Morey in the mirror, he seen me through his mirror.
And before we get to the next part, did you know whether Morey Pelton had a reputation for violence?
Yeah,
I asked for a specific instance. Were you aware whether he had a
Yes,
reputation?
he was a very angry person at times.
So, what happened next? The Hamlin vehicle is stopped, and you're able to see between the two vehicles, is that true?
Yes, that's true.
So what did you do?
I walked up in between the two vehicles. I got about to the back window of Morey's, and he turns and he says, Did you get my emails?
Next question for you. You said that you had put the gun down on the floor of Gerald Hamlin's car.
Yes.
When you got out, what did you do with the gun?
As I stepped out, I reached two legs and grabbed the gun, and I stuck it in my belt.
Okay. And so when you walked up to Morey, where was the gun?
The gun was right here in my belt.
Did you have it in your hands?
No, I did not.
And so what happened next when Morey makes a comment about, did you read my emails?
I put my hands on his deal. I said, hell, Morey, you don't even know my email address. And then, should I just keep on going?
Just what happened next? Yes.
Okay, and then, and as I was standing there like this,
Oh, as a matter of fact, before we do that, I wonder if we could have the witness come out into the well and demonstrate how he was talking to Morey, and in relation to where the Hinks vehicle was, if we could do that.
No objection.
Yeah, go ahead. Put that down. Move the microphone to the recording. Mr. Browning, for the record,
Yes.
can you tell me what you're doing?
Okay, for the record, what we're doing, Your Honor, is I'm gonna set up a chair in the middle of the well here. I'll ask Randy to approximate the distance between Kelly Hinks' vehicle behind him, Morey Pelton's vehicle in front of him, and what he was doing, what Mr. Larkin was doing with his hands at that time, and how he was, basically what he was doing, and the conversation that he had with Morey Pelton.
So what does the chair represent?
The chair represents the window, open window, to where he had his hands down and was talking through the window to Mr. Pelton.
Mr. Neal? Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Thank you. Mr. Larkin, can you approximate the distance between the Pelton vehicle and the Hinks vehicle from where you're standing?
about right here, because I had my hands on the window and my butt right up against Kelly's door.
And so you have your hands on a,
And you can't hear me?
Grab his mic.
He's got it.
there we go.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so right now as you're speaking, you have your hands on what we'll pretend was the open window of Morey Pelton's vehicle,
Yes.
okay? And who said what to whom when you had your hands on the window there?
Okay, and then after I said the email, I said, Morey, you don't even have my email address.
And why did you have your hands on the window like that at the time?
Well, in case he decided to get out, I could make sure he wasn't getting out.
So what was said by whom next?
Okay, and I had an event here where my shirt opened up and he seen the gun. And he goes, oh, what, you brought a gun? And then Kelly Hinks says, oh, hell no, put that up, we ain't having that shit. So I looked up at Kelly Hinks and I did this number. Showed him I did not have a gun in my hand. Came back, I said, yes, Morey. I said, understand you got everybody that's whacked out up and down Star Valley, that they're shooting one another, and you're right amongst the middle of them.
How did he respond? And what did you say in response to that? And then what happened?
I asked him, I said, so when you gonna pay me, Morey? Morey looks at me and he says, I'll pay you when I decide to pay you.
And how did you respond to that?
He goes, I said, well, why did I figure I'd be any different than any other son of a...
And how do you respond to that?
He told me, and
What happened next?
And then I looked at him, I said, you know all this? I said, this is exactly why Amber dumped your lying, cheating, scandalous ass.
And then what happened?
I turned and I started walking off. I did 1, 2, was going into the 3rd, and he goes, you think I'm afraid of your old ass? And I just flicked him off this way.
And then what happened?
I took another step and I heard that door just slam right into Kelly's, I could hear it slam right into Kelly's vehicle. I turned.
About how far away from the door were you when that happened?
Shit, about this far.
Well, wonder if, get away from his tether there.
Oh, I'm all right, I'm all right. I was about this far when I started turning. And this would be the back door and the back tire of Morey's car.
Okay.
Okay? And then as I was turning around, I heard the crunch of gravel, and I could see the window or the light in Morey's vehicle. So I knew the door was open. As I come around, I could see him coming out. And he had,
Have you ever seen him high before?
oh yes,
What did he look like when he looked at you at that time?
he was crazed. I mean, his eyes was that big around, he was looking at me, and he had white spittle right here on the side of his mouth.
Could you tell whether, in your mind, whether he was or was not under the influence of meth?
Oh, I could tell when we started talking right there,
How?
just by the way he was acting. He was just being an asshole.
Okay, so, anyway, right now you're facing him. What happens next?
I'm turning this way, and he's just trying to get out of his vehicle. He's got his left foot down, and this hand like this, and as he's coming around, I see something silver and black.
And you don't know what it was, but it was, well, what did you think it
I
was?
assumed it was a gun.
Okay, what happened next?
Then I came around like this, and I pulled this one, and I shot.
And what did you see next? What happened next?
Morey,
Why don't you put yourself in the position of Morey, what you saw Morey do right by by his door?
okay, Morey was kind of down.
Well, why don't you put yourself back where back, say, by the open door?
Well, I can't. This is,
A little bigger than Morey, I realize that, but do the best you can.
okay, but he's coming out of the, I need another chair besides this one. This one's got sides. But he came out like this. Okay. He was already out just like this, right here, coming at me.
And what did he do next? Once you fired the shot, what did you see?
He came up and he looked at me and he spun back around, and then I didn't think I shot him. I thought he was gonna get back in his car, but then he stood back up, turned around, looked at me, doubled up his fists, and fell right on his face.
What did you think when he fell on his face? Do you think he was still alive?
Jesus. No, I didn't. Fucking blood was flowing everywhere, and he didn't move or nothing.
You can return back to your seat. I have some more questions for you, sir. So you saw Morey after you shot him. How'd you feel about that?
Fuck, I was in shock. I fucking, Jesus, I just shot a guy.
Did you go up there intending to shoot Morey Pelton?
No, I did not.
Did you go up there intending to rob Morey Pelton?
No, I did not.
Did you go up there intending to beat up Morey Pelton?
No, I did not.
Were you physically capable of beating up Morey Pelton?
No, I am not.
When you got out of the car, did Buckskin go with you?
No, no one got out of the car. They were busy with their phones.
It was just you?
Yes,
And did you know where Morey kept his money?
yes.
Where did he keep his money?
In the sunglass container, right above the center console.
Did you know that on May 12th?
Well, I just imagined he always carried money there.
You seen him carry money there before?
Oh, yeah.
And did you take any of that money?
No, I did not.
Did you know where Morey kept his drugs?
Yes, I did.
Where?
Right here in the door handle.
Was anybody stopping you? And once Morey was shot, anyone stopping you from taking his drugs?
No,
Did you take his drugs?
no, I did not.
So tell me, did you, after you fired the shot, did Kelly Hicks say anything?
I believe he said,
And then what did you do after that?
I took a couple steps back and then turned and headed back to Gerald's vehicle. I looked back at Kelly and I said, let's get the fuck out of here. And I got in Gerald's vehicle. When I went to open the door, the gun was hanging off my sleeve of my shirt.
What'd you do with it?
We came in and I got in the car and I just kind of ripped it off my shirt.
When you realized you had a dead man, a person you had just shot, were you afraid of anything?
I was afraid after he shot, I knew I was a dead man.
What do you mean by that?
Morey was well connected with the Mexican mafia
Why did that give you a concern?
because I knew as soon as they found out I shot Morey, I'd be dead, or if not worse.
So where did you guys go? Did you continue your journey to Idaho Falls or did?
Oh, no. I said, just drive, and we headed to my house.
When you got to your house, what happened?
I gathered up all my stuff. Billy got out, I got out, Gerald took off, and then Billy got in his rig and Billy took off. We didn't say a word to none of us.
You say anything about snitches and ditches?
No, I did not.
Okay, you heard that testimony from Gerald Hamlin.
Yes, I did.
Did you make a statement like that?
No, I did not.
Did you make any threat to, of any kind to Gerald or to Mr. Burton?
No, I did not.
Did you make any kind of a threat to Kelly Hicks?
No, I did not.
So did you have a conversation with Kelly Hicks after you got back to your house?
Yes, after Buckskin left and after Gerald left, here comes Kelly. He pulled in the driveway. And that's when I told him, I said, this will probably be the last time you see me vertical.
What did you mean by that?
I figured the Mexican mafia would have me dead.
What happened after that?
We were standing there talking, and I looked over, and he had blood on his door of his little Explorer there. I said, damn, Kelly, you got blood there.
And how did he react to that?
He said, oh shit, I gotta go wash that off. He says, I'll be up to the ranch.
What's the ranch?
It's a buddy's place, a Palisades Creek.
Okay. So he left at that time?
Yes,
Did you see him after that?
yes.
And when did you see him next?
I went up to the ranch.
Was it that day or later?
That night, about 15 minutes after he left.
Okay. Anything happened at that time?
No,
So after that time, did you have any contact with Gerald Hamlin?
yes.
What kind of contact?
I contacted him to see if he made it all right.
You made it okay?
He made it all right to Arizona to his funeral.
Okay. And then, you see Billy Buckskin after that?
No, I did not.
So tell me, how did that shooting affect you emotionally?
Guys, excuse the language.
How did you, there's been some talk about a suicide attempt. Matter of fact, your daughter talked about that.
Yes,
And, why did you try to kill yourself?
yes, I did.
Why'd you do that?
My head is a mess. I just knew the Mexican mafia was gonna come kill me or do something worse.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they're known to be pretty brutal.
Were you worried about anybody other than yourself getting hurt?
My family,
And that'd be who?
that'd be my daughters, my brother, my grandkids.
So, tell us, you were hospitalized?
Yes, I was.
Pardon me?
Who's that, Burton?
Actually, drop the.
Ladies and gentlemen, jury, we're gonna, I told you we needed to be done by about 2:30 for some issues. We are going to take a break at this point in the testimony. We will resume tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Let me remind you, do not discuss this case during the trial with anyone, including the attorneys, parties, witnesses, friends, or members of your family, including the electronic communication, not doing any independent research of any kind. Do not discuss this case amongst yourselves or with other people, and do not attempt to decide the case based upon the facts until you begin your deliberations at the end of the trial. We will excuse the jury and leave counsel there just for a moment. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
All right, Secretary.
Thank you. Please be seated. Remain on the record. State versus Larkin, outside the presence of the jury. We'll be stopping today. It's my understanding, the court has a couple of questions about jury instruction. Michael, to have those on your desk tomorrow when you come here. Mr. Brownie, you have requested instructions as to self-defense as well as a lesser included. Voluntary manslaughter. Is that still your intent? I wasn't quite sure how to prepare those instructions.
We may not want to, but we'll consider that over. may not wanna go there, Your Honor. We'll consider that, tonight, we'll talk about it between the three of us. I'm thinking there's a chance we might not want to go there, we'll let you know definitively in the morning.
So how do you want to prepare the instructions?
Why don't you prepare it without, and if we decide that we want one included, we'll tell you in the morning.
So Neil, anything you want to put on the record?
No.
All right. Mr. Brown, anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you very much.
All right. We'll see you tonight. I'll have those instructions available about 8:45. Okay. We'll be in recess on this matter until tomorrow at 8:30.